On the afternoon of March 11, 2011, Japan was struck by one of the most powerful earthquakes in recorded history. Measuring 9.0 on the Richter scale, the earthquake, known as the 2011 Tōhoku earthquake, hit the eastern coast of the island nation, centered off the coast of Honshu, at a depth of about 24 kilometers. It was so strong that it rattled the entire country and caused buildings to shake in Tokyo, nearly 230 miles away from the epicenter. The sheer force of the tremor caused widespread devastation across the northern part of Japan, but it was the aftermath that would define the scale of this disaster. The earthquake set off a chain reaction of events, with the most devastating being the tsunami that followed. Within minutes, a wall of water surged toward the coastline, reaching heights of up to 40 meters (130 feet) in some areas. The tsunami waves engulfed everything in their path, sweeping away homes, entire towns, cars, boats, and buildings. In many areas, entire villages were obliterated within moments, leaving only wreckage and debris in their wake. The cities of Sendai, Ishinomaki, and many smaller towns along the coast bore the brunt of the disaster. Roads and bridges were destroyed, making rescue and recovery efforts extremely challenging. In addition to the physical destruction, the earthquake and tsunami also caused one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. The Tōhoku earthquake triggered a catastrophic failure at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The plant, located on the coast, was heavily damaged by the tsunami, which flooded its cooling systems and led to explosions in several reactors. Radioactive material was released into the environment, leading to widespread contamination and forcing the evacuation of over 150,000 people from the surrounding areas. The nuclear crisis added to the emotional and physical toll on the nation, as fear of radiation exposure compounded the tragedy. The human toll was staggering. Nearly 16,000 people lost their lives, and thousands more were injured or left homeless. Thousands of others were never found, their fates unknown, swallowed by the unforgiving waves. Entire families were torn apart, with some loved ones perishing while others were left to rebuild their lives in the wake of unimaginable loss. In many cases, there was no time for final goodbyes. With such a massive disaster unfolding in real time, the emotional strain on the people of Japan was profound. Yet, amid the overwhelming loss and chaos, Japan's response was nothing short of remarkable. Emergency response teams, including the Japan Self-Defense Forces, firefighters, and volunteers, were quick to mobilize, working tirelessly to rescue survivors and recover the bodies of the deceased. Despite the challenges of aftershocks, difficult weather conditions, and the destruction of infrastructure, the nation came together with a strength that would become the hallmark of their recovery. Around the world, the sight of Japan's people pulling together in the aftermath of the disaster was both inspiring and heart-wrenching. Communities that were once devastated began to rebuild from the ground up. The Japanese government allocated resources for disaster relief and recovery, providing funds to restore homes, businesses, and schools. Temporary housing was set up for those displaced, and efforts to clear the rubble began immediately. While the sheer scale of the destruction seemed insurmountable, Japan's determination to rebuild was unwavering. Despite the challenges, there was a strong sense of solidarity that arose from the wreckage. Volunteers, many of them coming from distant regions of the country, traveled to the affected areas to help with cleanup, deliver supplies, and offer emotional support. Ordinary citizens opened their homes to the displaced, showing kindness and empathy even when they themselves were also affected. People from all walks of life came together to share resources, food, and hope. The recovery process, however, would take years. Rebuilding Japan's infrastructure required a massive effort, and many areas, especially along the coast, faced ongoing challenges in terms of housing, healthcare, and psychological trauma. The Fukushima nuclear disaster continued to haunt the recovery process as the decommissioning of the damaged plant and the cleanup of the surrounding area was expected to take decades. The Japanese government worked to improve disaster preparedness and response systems in the aftermath, implementing more stringent safety regulations for nuclear plants and focusing on improving earthquake and tsunami prediction systems. In the years following the disaster, Japan's resilience became evident to the world. Despite the pain of losing loved ones, the nation showed an unrelenting will to move forward. Recovery efforts were slow, but they were steady, and Japan gradually began to rebuild. The nation's emphasis on technological innovation, strict building codes, and its strong community bonds all contributed to a quicker recovery than many expected. For many survivors, the trauma of the disaster remained, and grief and loss were carried for years, but the people of Japan refused to let the tragedy define their future. The 2011 Tōhoku earthquake remains one of the most devastating natural disasters in modern history, but it also stands as a testament to human resilience. From the depths of despair, Japan emerged stronger, more united, and more committed to ensuring that future generations would be better prepared for such calamities. The memory of the lives lost, the destruction faced, and the heroes who rose from the ashes will forever be etched in the hearts of those who lived through it, as well as the world. Though it was a disaster that no one could have predicted, it became a story of hope, survival, and the power of human spirit in the face of the most extreme adversity. If you found this story insightful, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and share. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.